What if you're emotional? What if you're taking steroids and you're coming down from steroids and you're getting emotional? What about that? What do you do about that? You know, what do you do when you are emotional? So statistically speaking, we are only capable of making one or two emotional decisions at a time. Now making decisions around money is an emotional decision. When you're taking a trade, you're taking an emotional decision. You're anticipating price to continue in a way you want it to continue and generate profits for you. That's basically what you're saying, right? And what I've seen is no matter how good you are, write this down right now. No matter how good you are, the moment you step into the third and the fourth trade, you will start to lose trades. You can write this down on a sticky note, hang it on your monitor, tattoo it on your head, or whatever you want to do. But like, if you stick to one or two trades, you will become profitable in like 2-3 man. What's 2-3 months, man? I see people deposit and never do a withdrawal. Why are you just depositing and never withdrawing? Because you're not sticking to one or two trades. That's it. There's nothing more to it. I see people scalping all day. Oh yeah, I'm a scalper. I scalp 10 times a day. Well, then good luck. You're going to redeposit 10 times a month. So you really have to keep that in mind. One or two trades, just stick to that. If you can't stick to one or two trades for at least 2 or 3 months, trading is not for you. You got to stop trading because you're mentally not capable of trading. You might be good at some other aspects of life. Don't get me wrong, man. Like, I have people who are great at what they do at their jobs, but they suck at trading. Why? Because one or two trades. You just have to stick to one or two trades. And honestly, that's the key. I mean, if you rewatch this webinar 5 or 6 times and you stick to one or two trades, you've already surpassed 80% of the things out there. And I'm just being honest with you right now. Like, I'm not making things up. See, one or two trades. Raja even said here, one or two trades. You just stick to one or two trades. Always look to see how could you have taken the right trade instead of crying over how you should have been right. And stick to 6 pairs max. I think that guy should be booted. So whenever you take a loss, never turn around and say, okay, man, I took a loss. Things were going my way. Every time when people tell me they took a loss and they ask me why they took a loss, and if I got $1 for every time I told them that to look at how could you have taken the winning trade, I would have at least $1,000. At least $1,000. Because whenever you take a loss, always look at how could you have taken the winning trade. Because when you do that, when you send me a chart saying that, okay, look, bro, I had this trade, I lost this trade, but then I looked at to see how could I have had the winning trade, and this is how I think I should have had the winning trade. What do you think? That to me will tell me that now you are on the right track. And not a lot of people are on that right track so far. They look at their losses as losses. They don't look at their losses as opportunities to, opportunities to language barrier, man. Opportunities to learn. Yeah, opportunities to learn. Because whenever you take a loss, the market was right and you were wrong, and you need to figure out why. Why did price go the way it did? How could I have been on the right side? What did I miss? What did I not see? Sometimes those losses are going to be just a part of the probability, but like most times, as you start to learn and as you start to progress, as you start to include all these simple concepts in your trading, right? Those losses are going to be educational losses. You're going to be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I was on the wrong side. I didn't see A, B, or C. So now I see it. Maybe I can take this information into the next day. I can take this information into the next trade, because this will happen over and over again. And when this happens the next time, I'm going to be fucking ready for that. Right? That's what you're going to do. So, people send me charts all the time here in the market fluidity groups. And then, I always tell them, okay, you took a loss. Now let's see, how could you have the winning trade? And when you start to figure that out, you start to say, okay, you know what? This makes sense now. So yeah, don't be a bitch. Don't cry over losses. So always look at losses as learning opportunities. That was a little what I had to speak. Now, I don't know if Ted wants to say something. Oh, Hey, Ted.
Hello. How
Hey,
are you?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, no, I think that's good. I'll give a little bit of a little additional thing to that about emotions and about trading psychology. I think what it comes down to, and this is very important, is people.
Hey,
Yep.
Ted. Uh, you want to share your screen or is this okay?
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah,
Uh,
keep it there.
okay.
I have nothing presented on my screen except a bunch of icons. Um, I think trading emotion and trading psychology comes from within. I've said this numerous times. Raja was right. In terms of making emotional decisions, a lot of your emotion comes from your lack of preparation and also your lack of understanding in the markets. And the lack of understanding and the lack of preparation should not be seen as a weakness because that is where your frustration comes from, right? If you turn around and take 10 trades and each one of those trades are a losing trade, like Raja said, you should not look at that as a negative. There's a negative impact to your bottom line, but the only impact you should feel is what should I do now to improve? How can I take this opportunity and look to improve upon it? The biggest hurdle that you have is that chasing of the dollar because everybody wants money. Everybody feels that they need money to live, which is an accurate statement. But what is an inaccurate statement is everybody should be trading Forex and everybody should be successful in Forex. That is the most inaccurate statement that can be presented to you. So you as a new trader have to come to various terms or various agreements with yourself. And I think we talk about this a lot. The first agreement you have to come to with yourself is you have to be honest. You have to understand why you are actually wanting to trade. Is it because you're passionate about Forex? Maybe you have a finance background. Maybe this is something new for you. Maybe you want to try it out. The issue becomes when you start trying to chase money. That is where your emotions take over. Because the reason why you need money is because you don't have any. If you think about it logically, if you have $1,000 in your pocket and you go buy an item that's only $10, you don't really think too much about that purchase because you have $990 left over. The same sort of process happens when you're trading. When you're trading, you only have a finite amount of capital sitting in front of you, whether it's in your trading account, whether it's in your checking account, whether it's in your savings account. So every time there is a negative interaction and you do not have an option to replenish from that negative action, there is a mountain of stress that appears over you, right? It's similar to when you have a car and you drive your car every day to get to work, and then suddenly one day your car breaks down. Where does the stress come from? The stress comes from the fact that your car has broken down, but more importantly, now you have to put money that you weren't expecting to outlay to fix your car to get to work. If your car is under warranty or your car, you have the money to fix your car, there's no stress, right? Have you ever thought about that? When you have a car and, you have to put gas in your car and you have, $20 or $30 in your pocket, it's not stressful to go put gas in your car. Stress comes from the lack of having something or the lack of the ability to get something. So now when you look at trading and we go back to the psychology of trading, this is the exact same phenomenon. The problem is people don't understand that correlation. You graduate high school, you graduate university, you have a crappy job, you are earning crappy money, you live a crappy life, you have crappy friends, you have a crappy spouse or a significant other, everything in your life is crap, and this is your last opportunity to become uncrap, right? This is your opportunity to become great. And when you start failing at this, now that coincides with the rest of your life. And now you start to think, well, I'm never going to be good. This is all XYZ. I don't understand what's happening. These are emotions that you have to be able to control, and you have to be able to think of a logical sequence on why things are going crappy. Why is my trading crappy right now? Why am I making these mistakes? It's not a bad thing that you're making trading mistakes. It's a bad thing when you don't understand where the mistakes are coming from. So now, how do we turn around and adjust and control our emotion? We control our emotion by becoming prepared, by becoming educated, and by having confidence in our decisions. This comes from having experience. But how do we gain that experience when all we do is make incorrect decisions? Like Raja said, what could we have done to have a correct decision? So really, what trading comes down to and controlling your emotions is experience and being prepared in the markets. So you as a trader should be actively reviewing your trades in the beginning, maybe for the first couple of years, maybe for the first 3 years, to see what patterns there are. Because like the market, there's going to be patterns in your trading. So now when you look at your patterns in your trading, you're going to start to notice things. You're going to notice your wins, and you're also going to notice your losses. The idea behind controlling your emotions is, how do I gain more wins, and how do I reduce my losses? We don't have to reduce losses to zero. We just have to make sure that anytime that we take a loss, we understand why the loss was taken, because that then gives you confidence, right? Think about it this way. Think very logically through this sequence. If you go to start a race with somebody, right? And you're standing at the starting line, and you look to the left or look to the right, and the person beside you looks better than you, looks more in shape, looks stronger, you can see them warming up, and you're just a slob. There's going to be probably a higher chance that you're going to lose that race. Why do you believe you're going to lose that race? Because you've made an observation. You've evaluated just at face value that person beside you. And you've evaluated yourself at face value just beside you. So now you understand that there's a high probability that you're going to take a loss in this race, but now the question starts to arise, why am I taking a loss in this race? So now you run the race, you lose by 3 seconds. Now you can evaluate, well, why did I lose by 3 seconds? I saw that person using better form. I saw they had more muscle in their legs. I saw that it looks like they knew what they were doing. So now you taking the loss, what you've done is you've rationalized the loss, not in a way that you're making an excuse, but in a way now that you can turn around and say, how can now I improve and be more competitive? So I look at my opponent and I look at what my opponent just did to me. I'm not mad that my opponent beat me. I am now evaluating my own person, my own structure, my own physicality, and saying, hey, if I want to be able to compete at that level, this is what I have to change. Now with trading, you're doing the exact same thing. I take loss after loss after loss. There should not be a frustration. After your third, fourth, or fifth loss, you should be taking a closer look and saying, hey, what pair am I trading? What days am I trading on? What hours am I trading in? And you should be charting out that information, and you'll start to notice a pattern. Hey, every time I've taken a loss, I've taken a trade just before the hour close, or I've taken a trade and it looks like we were at a resistance level based on a higher time frame, or I took a trade towards the end of a session, or I took a trade at the beginning of the market, the beginning of the week in the market open. When you start evaluating those items, you start to unlock the keys. And when you unlock the keys, your confidence grows because now you're starting to fix the puzzle. You're starting to put pieces together that you may not have seen, because what you've seen from a 25,000 foot level is the fact that all you've done is taken losses. That's the mistake, and that's the emotional part of trading. People message me daily and say, hey, Ted, I just keep losing. I'm not consistent. Yeah, and you know what? I'm not blonde. What's your point? Like, those are irrelevant conversations to have. Telling me that every day you've been inconsistent, telling me that you've taken losses, that is not going to help in any shape or form. So this is right away, when you start saying those things, you're already admitting that you don't have critical thinking skills, because what you're doing is you're making a generalization. I'm not consistent. Ted, I've been trading for 6 months. I can't win. Okay, well, after month 1, when you realized you couldn't win, why were you not going back into those losing trades and seeing what pattern was being formed? Everything in your life has a pattern. Everything in your life has a pattern. You wake up in the morning, you do certain things. You eat certain foods. You go to certain places. You have certain friends. You'll notice that you have a pattern. Everybody has a pattern. When you identify that pattern, that allows you to grow as an individual, right? You can turn around and complain about your situation, or you can say, why am I in this situation to begin with? How did I get here? It's the same thing with trading. Your emotions come from not understanding how you got there. That is what you have to understand. And that is not something that will happen overnight. You are acting as if you are a scientist or a detective. You're trying to solve the riddle. You're trying to solve the crime. You're trying to solve the experiment. Because what you're looking at is you're looking at the various items that you have in front of you, and you're trying to say, why does this pattern keep happening? It's the same thing when you win trades. You want to continue winning. So what do you do when you win trades? You go and review your trades because you're happy. You're ecstatic that you're making money. So, hey, how can I replicate this process? When you're losing trades, you don't have motivation to go and look through them because you're ashamed. Oh, I lost money. I lost this. I'm no good. That is the point where you should be focusing more of your energy. If I'm scoring 30 points a game in a basketball game, I don't have to look at the fact of how can I score more. I just have to keep doing the same thing over and over again, because 30 points is a pretty nice number. What can I do to increase that number? Well, I'll pass the ball less. I'll hog the ball more. I'll take myself and throw myself at the basket more often. It's the same thing with trading. How do we increase our results? How do we generate a more substantial income? It doesn't come from trading more. It comes from being more consistent with what we're doing. And as we become more consistent, the dollars that you have in your trading account continue to increase. It has nothing to do with your capital size. It has everything to do with your ability to repeat the same thing over and over again. And it's not about making 100% of your trades accurate or correct. It's about understanding that you are taking the highest probable setup based on the comfort level of your trading ability. Some people can't trade on the shorter time frames. That's fine. Some people can't trade on the longer time frames. That's fine too. The idea behind trading is figuring out what works best for you and how that will help you as a trader. The issue that most people fall into, or the trap that people fall into, is they fall into, well, this person trades this way and has this amount of success. I now will copy that person so I can copy that success. That does not happen. As the market changes every day, conditions change every day. We must adapt as traders every day. So you as a individual trader must find your comfort level in the market. It's an individual sport. It's an individual activity trading. You use people around you to bounce ideas off of, to discuss strategy, to discuss, hey, does this make sense? Does this not make sense? That's what you do. When people message me and say, hey, Ted, I've been consistent because I do this and this and this, great, congratulations. I'm happy that you found your style of trading. Now, your job is to continue that style, and if you have questions, when you pose the questions, you talk about how you approach the market and why you thought that this could have been an error, and is there something that you, or in the case, do I see that maybe you as a trader missed? That is how you use the community. That is how you use your friends. That is how you use other traders. You don't push your ideas onto other traders. You ask them, hey, is there something you think I missed here? That is the value in bouncing ideas off of other traders. At the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be executing. You're the one that is always going to be keeping score with your account size, with your lot size, with your consistency. The idea, once again, is to bounce ideas off of other traders and use the community as a resource and modify your trading for your comfort level. Some people can't drive cars fast. Other people will go to this faster 2 times or 3 times past the speed limit. It's different thresholds. It doesn't mean that the person driving fast is doing something really right, or the person driving really slow is doing something really wrong. It means that they're within their boundaries, and that is going to bring you the best success. When you're able to focus within your boundaries and look at trading from a unique perspective that works for you. So I think that's pretty good information. And I don't know if I have anything else to say. Do we lose Rukil?
Oh, yeah. No, that's awesome. That's perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. So that was Ted. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some simulation here, and we're going to try to put what we saw here to